You wake up early, maybe before your alarm even goes off. You get ready, go to work, deal with stress, deadlines, people you don't even like, and at the end of the month, you tell yourself, at least I'm doing the right thing. You try to save money. You avoid buying stupid stuff. Maybe you've even started investing a little, but somehow, it still feels like you're not getting anywhere. Here's the thing. That quiet frustration you feel? That sense that no matter how hard you work, your financial life just stays the same? You're not imagining it. Look, the average person today is working more than ever, earning more than previous generations, and yet still struggling to build real wealth. Most people have less than a few $1,000s in savings. Many can't even handle a small emergency without going into debt. So what's actually going on here? Because it doesn't make sense, right? You're doing what you were told. Work hard, save money, be responsible, and yet the results don't match the effort. Now, you might be thinking, maybe I just need to earn more, or maybe I'm missing some secret investment strategy. But here's what most people don't realize. The problem isn't just how much money you make. It's how the entire system of money actually works. And more importantly, how most people unknowingly play it the wrong way. My name is Demas, and I spend way too much time thinking about money. If you're someone who feels stuck financially, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Look, I'm not here to sell you some get-rich-quick fantasy, and I'm definitely not going to tell you that skipping coffee will magically make you wealthy. Because here's the thing, most financial advice sounds simple on the surface. But when you actually try to apply it in real life, it starts to fall apart. You've probably watched videos, read posts, maybe even tried budgeting apps. And for a while, it works. You feel in control. You feel motivated. But then life happens. Unexpected expenses. Bills stacking up. A little lifestyle upgrade here and there. And suddenly, you're right back where you started. Now you might be thinking, maybe I just need more discipline. But here's what most people don't realize. It's not just about discipline. It's about understanding the rules of the game you're playing. Because money isn't just numbers. It's behavior, it's psychology, it's strategy. And if you don't understand how those pieces fit together, you can work hard for years and still feel like you're running in place. So in this video, we're going to break that down step by step. No fluff, no hype, just real numbers, real logic, and a clearer way to think about money. Let's start with the advice everyone gives. You've heard it 100 times. Save more money. Spend less than you earn. Invest as early as possible. Pay off your debt. And look, none of this is wrong. In fact, on paper, it all sounds perfectly logical. Here's the thing. If it were really that simple, most people wouldn't be struggling financially. But they are. So clearly something is missing. Because these are principles, not actual decision-making frameworks. They don't tell you what to do when real life gets complicated. And real life always gets complicated. Let's say you finally saved your first $5,000. That's a big deal. But at the same time, you still have $8,000 in credit card debt. Now what? Do you keep saving to feel secure? Do you start investing so you don't fall behind? Or do you throw everything at your debt? Now you might be thinking, why not just do all three? And yeah, that sounds balanced. But here's what most people don't realize. When your money is split without a clear priority, your progress becomes diluted. You're not fully solving any problem. Your savings grow slowly. Your investments barely move. Your debt still drains you every month. So even though you're doing everything right, it feels like nothing is actually working. And that's exactly where most people get stuck. All right, now let's stop guessing and actually look at the numbers. Because money doesn't care about opinions. It follows math. Let's go back to a simple scenario. You have $10,000 in credit card debt with a 20% interest rate. That means every single year you're paying $2,000 just in interest. Not the principal. Just the cost of borrowing. Now at the same time, let's say you decide to invest instead. Historically, the stock market returns around 7 to 10% annually. So if you invest $10,000, you might make about $700 to $1,000 in a year. Here's the thing. You're gaining $1,000, but losing $2,000. That's a guaranteed net loss. And this is where it gets really interesting. People treat paying off debt like they're losing money. But mathematically, paying off a 20% debt is the same as earning a guaranteed 20% return. No risk, no volatility, no waiting. Now compare that to investing. To beat 20%, you'd have to take significant risk, And even then, it's not guaranteed. So when you choose to invest while holding high-interest debt, you're not building wealth. You're leaking it. And most people don't notice this, because the loss is quiet, gradual, and hidden inside interest. So if the math is this clear, why don't people just follow it? Here's the thing. Money decisions are rarely logical. They're emotional. And most of the time, you don't even realize it. Let's start with something called loss aversion. Here's what most people don't realize. Losing money feels about twice as painful as gaining money feels good. So when you use $5,000 to pay off debt, your brain registers it as a loss. It feels like your money just disappeared. But when you invest $5,000, it feels like you're doing something smart, even if the return is smaller. Now add instant gratification on top of that. Look, your brain is wired to prioritize rewards that happen now, not 10 years from now, not even next year. Right now. That's why spending feels good immediately, while investing feels slow and almost invisible. Then there's risk perception. Now you might be thinking, I'm okay with risk, I invest in stocks. But here's the irony. People are often more comfortable with uncertain gains than guaranteed outcomes. Paying off debt is certain. Investing is not. Yet many people choose investing because it feels more exciting, more hopeful. And finally, lifestyle inflation. You earn more, but you also spend more. So your financial position doesn't really change. It just looks better on the surface. And this combination is exactly why smart people still make poor money decisions. So what separates people who stay stuck from those who actually build wealth? Here's the thing. It's not just about earning more money. It's about thinking differently about how money works. Because wealthy people aren't playing the same game. First, they don't focus on income. They focus on net worth. Look, you can earn $100,000 a year and still feel broke if your expenses and debt grow just as fast. Income is just cash flow. Net worth is what you actually keep. Assets minus liabilities. That's the number that matters. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Wealthy people think in decades, not months. When they make a financial decision, they don't just ask, can I afford this? They ask, what is this going to cost me long term? Let's say you spend $300 every month on something you don't really need. That's $3,600 a year. Sounds manageable, right? But invested at around 8% over 20 years, that becomes over $150,000. Same money, different mindset. And here's what most people don't realize. Wealthy people are extremely careful with high-interest debt because they understand one simple rule. Interest is either working for you or against you. And when it's against you, it quietly destroys your ability to build wealth over time. All right, so let's bring this down to something practical. Because understanding all of this means nothing if you don't actually do something with it. Here's the thing. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a clear priority. Step 1. Eliminate high-interest debt. Anything above 8 to 10%, that's your target. Look, this isn't about being conservative. It's about stopping the leak before trying to fill the bucket. Every dollar you put toward that debt is a guaranteed return. No market can promise that. Now, once that's under control, Step 2. Build a basic emergency fund. You don't need 6 months of expenses right away. Start small. Even $1,000 to $3,000 can protect you from falling back into debt when life happens. And it will happen. Step 3. Automate your investing. Now you might be thinking, what if I don't have much to invest? That's fine. Start with what you can. 200, 300, even less. Because consistency matters more than amount. Then step 4. Control lifestyle inflation. Every time your income goes up, don't let your expenses rise at the same speed. Split the increase, part for your life, part for your future. And finally, track your net worth, not just your salary, because what you build matters more than what you earn. So let's step back for a second, because this isn't just about numbers, or debt, or investing strategies. It's about how you think about money. Here's the thing. Most people don't stay stuck because they're lazy. They stay stuck because they're following advice that sounds right, but doesn't go deep enough. They try to save more without fixing the real leaks. They try to invest without understanding the trade-offs. They try to earn more without changing their behavior. And over time, that creates this frustrating cycle. Work harder, earn more. Still feel behind? Now you might be thinking, so what actually changes things? It's not one big decision. It's a series of small, consistent choices that align with how money actually works. Choosing to eliminate high-interest debt first. Choosing to invest consistently even when it feels slow. Choosing to delay short-term gratification for long-term stability. Because this is where it gets really interesting. Wealth isn't built in big moments. It's built quietly, in the background, through decisions that don't feel dramatic, but compound over time. And once you understand that, you stop chasing quick wins and start building something real. So the question isn't whether you can get ahead. It's whether you're willing to play the long game. Because that's where everything changes.